Kraft presented her credentials to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and then went to the Security Council. She was warmly welcomed by her new colleagues and then cast votes supporting 3 resolutions. She later told reporters that she is not just President Trump's UN envoy, but also a voice for America's commitment to freedom, democracy, and human rights.
In a world marked by humanitarian crisis, the geopolitical challenges, strong American leadership is absolutely critical, and I intend to provide it. I will defend America's values and interests. I will stand by our friends and allies. I will advocate for the poor and the weak. And I will never fail to work with those who genuinely wish to advance the cause of human dignity.
A former businesswoman from Kentucky, Kraft and her husband Joe, a billionaire coal executive, are well known in Republican circles as major donors and contributed $1 million to President Trump's 2016 presidential run. Trump appointed her as his ambassador to Canada 2 years ago. Her tenure was marked by negotiations for the new U.S.-Canada-Mexico trade agreement. Kraft was confirmed for her UN job on July 31st, with a slim majority in the U.S. Senate, where some Democrats complained she lacked adequate foreign policy experience.
So, Madam Ambassador, let me be frank. I have deep reservations about your lack of qualifications for such a complex and challenging role. Historically, U.S. ambassadors to the UN have brought significant executive experience or experience working directly in foreign policy.
Her extensive absences from the embassy in Canada, more than half of the 608 days on the job, also came in for scrutiny. Kraft has little more than a week before world leaders, including her boss, arrive for the UN General Assembly. Longtime UN observer Richard Gowan says Kraft will only play a backseat role at the annual gathering.
Her job is to make sure that the president's trip to New York goes well. She won't be doing substantive diplomacy herself. I think Kraft will only really be able to make a personal impact in New York once the General Assembly is out of the way, and she can spend a bit more time building relations with other members of the Security Council and important powers at the UN.
One of the big topics at this year's meeting will be climate change. Kraft's family has ties to the coal industry, and she once told a Canadian interviewer that she believes both sides of the climate debate. Ambassador Kraft replaces Nikki Haley, who left her post 9 months ago. Haley held cabinet rank. Kraft will not, and cultivated a high political profile. Analysts say Kraft is likely to have a more limited role than Haley in setting U.S. foreign policy. Margaret Besheer, VOA News, the United Nations.